Hi, my name is Shariq Siddiqui, and I'm the Executive Director of ARNOVA.
And I'm Titus. I'm the Associate Director of ARNOVA.
And we're excited to welcome you to Austin, Texas.
Yes, we're here. All the staff have landed yesterday, so we've been getting set up all day. But we thought it would be great to just take some time and chat with you all in case it's your first ever conference here with us at ARNOVA. Our staff, we are so lucky. We have a wonderful executive director who we get to see every day. But he's got, a world of experience of seeing ARNOVA through the years, both as an attendee and also as a staff member. So I think between the two of us, we're happy to answer your questions. We want you to feel comfortable. I think one of the most pinpoint objectives we want to get out of the conference is to make sure that everybody finds a home here at ARNOVA when you come to visit. So we'll talk a little bit about that. We'll talk a little bit about experience, and then also answer any questions you might have on your chat box. If you want to send us questions, we're happy to answer those at the end of the webinar. But I know we were talking a little bit before we started, and I'm on my first full year here at ARNOVA, so I can't say I'm new anymore. But
she's done an amazing, amazing, amazing job.
Thank you so much, Shariq. But I know that you started at ARNOVA as an attendee. So maybe thinking about your first experience or sharing your first experience, like what would you wish you would have known? And then also on the flip side, now that you're the executive director, what do you hope that new attendees?
Sure. No, absolutely. I started as a member, as a master's student first, and then on to a doctoral student. And, just so you know, in advance, I'm a theater major, but I didn't get really good grades. So, while this is a dream come true to perform for you guys, it's I may not be able to get any Oscars for this one. But the first thing and this is my theater training coming in now. The first thing, it's going to sound really silly, but you're coming to Austin, Texas, and if you're coming, we came from Indiana, and I was thinking we're escaping the snow, we're going to come into the middle of the desert, it's going to be really warm, and it's really cold outside. So check your iPhones or whatever, I don't endorse any, but check your app to know what the weather is. But the temperature outside and inside is different. So this is where my theater training comes in. I have a prop that I have, so dress in layers. So I have a t-shirt, and depending on what your dress style is, but I would recommend bringing a sweater because sometimes it's freezing. And these are special sweaters, right?
Yes, they are. So you'll see the ARNOVA logo here. As Shariq said, again, inside and outside, we think that the weather is going to shape up a little bit here in the country. It's a little bit rainy, but inside it's as you've gone to any conference or any kind of like indoor training event, it's freezing sometimes in some of the rooms, which is good because we've going to have a lot of people here. But yeah, make sure you dress in layers, bring some comfortable clothes. And then these sweaters that you see, the ARNOVA sweaters, are our staff. So you'll meet all of our ARNOVA staff. I have a personal agenda I will share with all of you. I hope that you get to meet every single one of our ARNOVA staff. We are so excited for you to get here. We love our members. We know each of you probably over email or phone calls, but we want to meet you all in person. So please find somebody with one of these sweaters so we can introduce ourselves and thank you for coming. So if you see these are staff members. We'll also have our volunteers. We'll have volunteer shirts on, and we'll share some of those images with you tomorrow. But in case you need any help at all, we're always here to help you, and so are our volunteers.
And Fatma just reminded me, so this is me getting so excited about the prop that I forgot my script. And Fatma just reminded me that I'm supposed to tell you that if you post your questions at the bottom, we'll be answering them as we go through. So this is not a scripted presentation beyond the fact that that's that part that I missed out on. So, but your question was how did things change?
Yeah.
And so when I came as the master's student, of course I have friends here. I was in a grad school that a lot of kids, a lot of students, a lot of my friends came here. But I was the only person studying Muslim philanthropy. And so the challenge was in my university, I didn't have someone that I could engage with. So this became that place where I could think about the ideas that sometimes I didn't have that method. And so a couple of things I did was, of course, I had my friends, but beyond that, I was looking for intellectual companions, right? People to make the journey with. And what I did was I looked at the conference program and I identified 12 people and I forced myself, when you're studying Muslim philanthropy, that's hard, and that I forced myself to come up with 12 names that would help me with my research. And you know what I did? I just went up, I made sure I went to those sessions. I waited till the session ended, or in the beginning of the session by getting there early. Usually some people are, because of the schedule, it's rushed sometimes between session to session. But inevitably, I would always go up at the end, introduce myself, and say, can we connect? Some point during the conference. And if they didn't have something going on right immediately after, and I didn't have, we ended up having a longer conversation. My dissertation my dissertation title came from the ARNOVA Conference in Indianapolis. So what I would do is I would look at the program, and of course you have to make presentations, and we'll talk a little bit about the kinds of presentations and sessions that you can go to. And you're going to, there are presentations that help your research. But this conference is about building community. I always, you're going to hear this a lot. Thor, Ragnarok, spoiler alert in advance. Odin says Asgard is not a place, it's a people. ARNOVA is not a place, it's a people, and we move around all over the world, actually. So this is about you making your community and the way you do it, and ARNOVans are really proud of the fact that we can engage and do that. So one of the things that you do is make sure that you identify at least 12 people that you want to connect with, and then some of my best friends today I met at ARNOVA, and they're not from my graduate school. I mean, not to say my friends at the graduate school are not my best friends. I'm not excluding you guys, especially since this is being recorded. But I have a lot of great friends, and a lot of them are not from my graduate school, but I met just because I went up to the front of the and did that. As you're thinking about the conference presentations, there are different kinds, right?
I was going to say, again, my background is in higher ed as well, but I thought, again, as a first-time attendee last year as a staff member, there's a lot of terminology that if you haven't been to an academic conference that you might not pick up on really quickly. So, even if you want to talk about the type of sessions, like what is a colloquy, what is a plenary, what's the difference, what's a concurrent session, I think that might be confusing, if you're brand new and have never been to the ARNOVA conference. Sure.
So when you think about first of all, many people that come to our conference, they will present research. And the way they present research is either in a formal way or in a reflective, generative way. So when you think about our poster presentations, which are really, really amazing, these are generally presentations that haven't made the paper form, but they're still in conversation. They're extraordinarily well put together research, but it's a time where you can really have an interactive conversation. So we have a poster session. That's a great time for you. Go up, meet with people, engage with them one-on-one on a research rather than, where someone's at the front, they give their 10-minute spiel and they do that. This is much more interactive. And posters are about interactive conversations about research that is in formation, right? Then you can go listen to papers and panels. And a lot of people look at the panel and they say, okay, there's a theme, and this whole conference, these research presentations are going to be about those themes. But those themes are just ways in which we in the conference committee try to sort of put these themes around research papers. But those 4 presentations that are made are really about nitty-gritty research of the scholar. So those are our panels and papers. If you're thinking about much more broader conversations, so let's say in my case, I study Muslim philanthropy. So I'll be doing some research presentations, which will be very about bare-bone research. But what if I want food for thought? What if I want to think about the landscape, broader research questions? What are the research questions? The colloquy is really designed to be that, where you still talk about research, it's still embedded in research, but it's about broader questions. And these colloquiums go on to become books. They go on to become research projects, and sometimes they just inform the work that we do, right? And at one time, there's a lot. One of the big challenges I always have is I think ARNOVA's is a huge buffet, right? And there's a capacity issue. I can only go to one session at a time, and there's at 20, 25. So try to have an intention of why you're going to each session. And if it's about, sometimes I go to research presentations just to see how people are thinking about questions, presenting them, and creating formats and having those conversations so that as a scholar, I can grow I can learn a little bit about that subject matter, but that I can also see how different scholars in different disciplines are presenting that. I go to colloquies, really think about what are the broader questions, what are the broader research opportunities that I have. We have plenary sessions, which are designed and curated by our conference committee or the local arrangements committee. These are the broad theme questions. These are moments of inspiration. I love going to plenary sessions. I'm running around all the time, but other than ARNOVA, I go to plenary sessions, or before I became the ED, I would go there, and really this was my time to just dream, right? What are those big questions? How are these things informing us? And we have some really exciting plenaries today. Those are the sessions. The couple of things I would say that are really critical to ARNOVA. One is these receptions.
Great.
You know, which receptions do we have? How many receptions do we have?
We have at least 5 receptions. So we've got the American University reception Thursday. We have the Baruch reception Thursday. We've got Friday. We've got a meet and greet. So
African scholars.
You'd like to meet some folks doing great generative research and civil society in Africa, you can go to that. We have our trio of sponsors reception for our host committee, who are amazing people.
And we have a band coming to that, right?
There's a band. There's going to be rock and roll.
That's right.
And lots of networking, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, we've got all kinds of opportunities for you to get involved. And I would say, you know, I'm taking off my staff hat, but I think about going to conferences, especially being new. You know, you may be the only person from your school. Maybe you're traveling and taking up, you know, your professional development just to do something that you're particularly passionate or interested in. And it can be a big place, even though we're kind of a smaller membership community. But we've got, you know, 1,300 members. So hopefully 1351, excuse me. I should have that number by now. But, you know, we're expecting close to 900 for our conference. So where would I start? I think about selfishly, you know, encouraging new time attendees to be plugged in with a resource that might be your passion. So I think about some of our knowledge communities, which we've got common interest groups organized about topic or research topic.
When do they meet?
That is on Friday, I believe.
Friday, 5:30 to 6:30.
Yes, sorry,
right?
Thank you. Sorry, there are too many numbers in my head from this week. And then we've got our sections, which are more formalized and structured with governance knowledge communities. And so there will be a meet and greet social, which is, you know, when you're not at the reception and you're passing through to the next reception, stop into the meet and greet, because all the sections will be there. You can kind of get a flavor for everybody and what different knowledge groups provide for each of that, and that's on Thursday.
And our sections meet and greet is going to be special. I'm not supposed to say that it's a speed dating format, but
it's a speed meet and greet.
It's a speed meeting.
Efficiency, strategery, and able to network and meet up.
It's not a speed dating format.
It is not. And you know, again, emerging scholars workshops. Do you want to talk about some of those?
Yeah, we have a couple of questions about Wednesday about what to expect if you're part of the diversity graduate or undergraduate program.
First of all, hello. You've probably been emailing back and forth with myself or Mariana Cortez. Thank you for coming. And for Wednesday, we are still adding the final touches for the agenda. As soon as we have that finalized, I can email that out to all of you. We will have a printed copy. I would say for sure, plan on being ready. We'll be ready for you at registration. We'll open at 2 o'clock. And so there will be—
For the diversity scholars.
For diversity scholars, yes. So we'll be ready for you probably around 1 o'clock. If you want to get there a little bit early, we'll have the agendas all printed out for you. And then we'll have kind of a social hour between that 2 and 3 o'clock time. We've got an undergraduate diversity scholars program, and then we've got kind of graduate diversities professional development workshop. So those two, you'll get to network. So again, if you're an undergraduate, you'll get to kind of look aspirationally to where you might be in a couple years.
That's
and
right.
If you're a graduate in that program, you get to be the coach for somebody who is going to fill your shoes in a few years, especially when you go on to do your research. So
what about the doctoral student?
Doctoral fellowship, you all will be arriving tomorrow night to start bright and early on Wednesday morning at 8 a.m. So everybody should have their agendas and been contacted by their faculty for that program, but they'll be ready to go at 8. So.
And what if I show up on Wednesday and I'm not a doctoral fellow, I'm not a diversity scholar. I'm none of those things. What can we do in the?
I have so many things for you to get connected with. I think first of all, if you're just learning to, learning your way around ARNOVA and you're a first-time person, you get here early, come find one of us with the sweaters. We are happy to help you connect, and if you want to go through your program, we can find some different things and help you kind of steer through what you might plan for yourself. But we've got tons of volunteer opportunities, and if you are interested in volunteering, you're going to get kind of the first jump on knowing everybody that's coming in. So that's already a great way to be part of our conference, and we'll put you to good use with your own voluntary action for ARNOVA. But if you do volunteer and you are interested in attending, we do have where we've got different volunteer shifts, and then we would give you a complimentary registration for about 6 hours of volunteer time too. For each day. And
on Wednesday, we also have pre-conference sessions. Check our program out.
Yes.
There's a lot of interesting pre-conference sessions going on. There's a research symposium going on with our partner, RGK Center at the University of Texas at Austin. And then, of course, when you start on Thursday, for those of you that aren't in the diversity graduate program, diversity undergraduate or graduate program, or aren't in the doctoral fellows, we also have some really cool programs for emerging scholars, professional development that's been designed. We have a committee that's been working year-round to make sure, thinking about what are the things that would be helpful to you in terms of your professional development beyond the research and academic side, but what does it mean to be a scholar, right? What does it mean to be successful as a doctoral student? And so we have special emerging scholars programs, and we'll have a flyer that talks about some of these, or we have somewhere, we have some materials for you that kind of highlight this. A lot of paper, but the paper that you should look at all the paper, because our sponsors are very important, and we should thank our sponsors every day because they make these conferences affordable and unique. But in those papers, you'll also see these specials, and the Emerging Scholars program, professional development program, which will be on Thursday and Friday, are really great initiatives to look at and focus on. Let me see, we have another, sorry, go on.
No, I was going to say we've got a couple more questions too.
So what is the transportation arrangement from the airport in Texas to the hotel? It'll be helpful if we know how one can get to in two ways that I know. One is you can take an Uber. I think it's like $23, $24 to do that. And our rock star conference co-chair, Brenda Bashaus, actually took, because she wanted to see what it was like, she took public transportation. There's a bus service that goes from the airport and actually stops you off maybe like a block away from the hotel, and that's like less than $3.
Yeah, I think it was like $2.75.
$2.75, and I think it took, by Uber, I think we tested it out, it took us, what, 25 minutes? And by bus, she said it took around 40-45 minutes. So there are two ways that we know of for sure, but of course there are things like Super Shuttle, and there's on our conference page, there is some information that'll help get that information to you.
Yes, if you go to arnova.org, and then you'll see the conference link, click on conferences, and it's under conference hotel information.
So really good question. Where do we see the list of presenters of the topics in the concurrent sessions? So 2-3 ways that you can do that.
So the first way is if you happen to be already looking at the ARNOVA website, getting all the information about what we're doing at the conference, there is a link on there that says the conference schedule. And so you can go in there. It is a searchable link. So you could put in a topic of grassroots organizations, and then all of the concurrent sessions and presentations that have that keyword in there will pop up, so you can kind of look through that. You can plan your schedule that way. We also do have an app. We're going to be launching information about that once it's all complete and set up. You can log in and download it from either your Android store. Oh, here, we've got
well, it's shiny, but so this is what happens when you give a 47-year-old an iPhone, right? Not so great. So yeah, app, we have one.
Yep. So but you have to download the keyword ARNOVA 18. So again, just like our hashtags for Twitter. I'm sorry. 2018.
ARNOVA 2018. Fatma's here, but we'll show you her in a few minutes.
She's
and Natalia's over there.
Guru. And they're both hiding.
They're amazing.
So, no, if you go to the App Store for Android or for the iPhone, you type in ARNOVA 2018. It will download our ARNOVA app. In there, you can customize your own schedule. So you can kind of do the same thing online where you can look through different presenters, or you can even send messages to other attendees. You can connect it with your LinkedIn, so you can network that way. There's a lot of different options you can do with the app. But in addition, like I think that I like pen and paper. So I just like to write down or highlight in my program booklet. If you want to have something in your pocket, it will schedule out what different sessions you can go to.
And when you go to the app, you you go to the session that you want, right? Now this is my iPhone, right? Or Android, because I'm not endorsing either. You press on that session, and if you go to the very bottom, it says more. You press on that, pretty impressive. And then when you do that, it gives you the 3 speakers, right? And then that'll also give you the title. So you'll see the speakers and all the sessions to do that. And we should have a cheat sheet on how to use the app.
We'll have all that for registration for you too.
Yeah. And let's see, do we have another questions?
Good questions.
What is that bus number for public transportation? That's a good question. I don't have it. We'll find out and we'll put it on our website. We sure will.
We can do that, yep.
And make sure for the conference, I really recommend for those of you that are into Facebook or Twitter or social media, like us, because we have been sending out information on that. Also, it's another way for us to communicate. We don't want to clutter your emails. Right. But Facebook and Twitter.
And we do have Instagram.
We do have Instagram.
So,
right? Yeah.
Yes, I talked Shariq into that.
Yeah.
We'll be posting a lot of more quick updates about the conference there, things that, again, visually you might want to look for. So our volunteers wearing their shirts so that you know what they look like if you need help, our sweaters if you'd like. I would say, too, that kind of going back to the basic questions of, how do we get to the conference hotel? Again, some of these basic needs, like where am I sleeping? How do I get here? We've tried to put as much information as possible on our website. So if you need any help or if you're traveling from abroad, the airport is very helpful. Like there's information stations too at the airport. So if you are looking to get transportation, there's a transportation right by the luggage desk. Just don't be afraid to ask. Everybody in Texas is very welcoming. So
yeah, one thing I want to make sure I say, and I'll say again throughout, this is a community. Right. And for those of you that have colleagues or friends coming here, it's easier, right? And you can make that, but I would say go beyond your comfort zone, identify those 12 people that you're going to connect with. It's awkward, but this is a community where they expect you to come in. If you're a first-time attendee, you're going to have a ribbon. People will know that you're a first-time attendee, and ARNOVANs, and I'm an ARNOVAN before I became an ED. We know it's our responsibility to keep you included, but sometimes we don't always do a great job, right? And what I want you to think about is you're seeing Holly, you're seeing me, and you're going to see all the other sweatered people. If you're lost, and I don't mean lost, if you're lost, definitely reach out to us, right? But if you're lost in terms of the flow of what's going on, the 900 people that are here, make sure you reach out to us, right? Because it's our job to make sure that you're in that stream, you're part of that community, so that this is our job, this is our responsibility, but as ARNOVANs, we're committed to making sure you're included in our community. So never hesitate to reach out to me. I'll be throughout the conference, Holly, the rest of our staff, and usually if you find Natalia, she can find me. So, I can go anywhere in the world, she finds me. So
and we're grateful for that.
That's right. So if you need to reach out to me, I'm committed to this idea that it's my responsibility to be your guide, to be your friend, and to make sure you're not lost. And that is internalized by our entire staff. Our board feels that way. You'll see board ribbons. This group of people, anybody with a ribbon are expecting you to help you. Right? So it doesn't matter what the ribbon says. If they have a ribbon, they're there to help you.
And I love that about where I work in my job. I'm not just saying this because I'm on camera. I promise you.
We get paid to say that, but we actually believe it. Right?
I'm grateful that You know, I think that our members are so kind and they're so inviting. I think, you know, again, being just from my own past professional experience going to different academic conferences, you can feel like, oh, this is the research and I'm here to listen. I feel like at ARNOVA, it was so refreshing as, you know, again, a first-time attendee last year, but also a staff member to see how welcoming all of our members are to people. So if you see somebody getting an award on stage that may have written a book that you read in graduate school, you can have a conversation with that person. They're probably going to engage you and say, wow, you should really read this book, or why don't you email me later? I feel like that's one of the benefits that we don't talk about a lot at ARNOVA is how invested some of our seasoned members are to those that are new and incoming. Yep. So I appreciate that.
And a really great question. Do we need invitations to the receptions, the Baruch, ARNOVA's, American, or are they open to everyone? If they're in the program, you're invited. And unless, I don't think on our program I've seen anything that says by invitation, of the board meeting. But the socials are, if they're in our program and it doesn't say that they're by invitation, you're invited. And I'm personally making this invitation.
Yes, we are inviting you.
We are inviting you.
Please go.
Yes, and that's a really great way. You know, well, I've already torn off all my hair, but that's the point in the conference that if I had hair, I would have torn them off and then I could just let my hair down, which I can't. But it's a time where I'd love to hang out with you at the American University reception. I'd love to hang out with you at Baruch. The thing I like about the Thursday receptions, I love the Friday one too because it's the ARNOVA one. But the thing I love about the Thursday receptions and the meet and greets is I get to hang out with you because these are smaller events. Right. You don't have hundreds of people in the room, and I get to make the room. I get to see all of you and so on. And I'd love to hang out with you. I'm a people person. I like people, and I love people. Yeah. So
that's why you're good at your job.
I'm inviting you on behalf of American University and Baruch College. Hopefully they're okay with that.
Yeah.
For you to attend the receptions, and then I'm inviting you on behalf of the ARNOVA board and the staff to attend the ARNOVA reception. And those of you that are interested in doing research in Africa or have connections with or are interested in the work, I invite you on behalf of AROCSA, the Association for Research on Civil Society in Africa, to the meet and greet on Friday. So if they're in our program, you're invited, unless it says by invitation, but it's very rare that that's the case.
Yeah, one more question.
Two, actually.
Two more questions, great.
I joined ARNOVA as a graduate student, hoping to enter the doctoral program next year. As someone embarking on a journey in the same way you started, what would your advice to be? That is an excellent question. You know what? This is where you come see, make a list of all the PhD programs you're interested in, right? Then identify who are the people that are connected with that PhD program. So that's part of your list of 12, and it may be more than that right now, because I would recommend applying for 8 to 10 PhD programs. That's what my advice is to me. That's what my advice is to you. Apply to 8 to 10 because you want to make sure you apply to enough and that you get into the program that you want, and you have the choice at the end. And then email those people in advance and say, I'm going to be at the ARNOVA conference. Do you have time to have a cup of coffee? And we have, what, 5 coffee breaks? So that's a great way for us to do that. But those are 3 things. 1, identify the programs that you want to attend. Email the people that are there. Now, some of them, because we're already in ARNOVA week, and if you're like me, I have 2 research presentations that I'm still working on. So people may be really busy trying to catch up. So they may not respond right away, but that's okay. Look at where they're presenting and they're available in the program, and then connect with them then. But email them right away and let them know that you're interested in their program. You'd love to have coffee while you're at ARNOVA. And that actually is going to help you, right? Because it shows motivation. It shows that you're interested. And I think you learn a lot about a program by just personally meeting.
Yeah, I agree. And I think there's lots of places to do that at the conference.
We just made someone's day, and that's always a good thing.
You just made my day by saying
that's right.
We made your day.
So and the conference has not even started. And then we just got Super Shuttle, actually, is one of our attendees. So thank you, Super Shuttle. It's $14 to $17. It's outside of the Delta baggage area. And the public bus number, thank you, Super Shuttle, is number 20. And it's towards Manor Road, Riverside, northbound. Get off on 4th and Lavaca, and it is 4 blocks away from the hotel. Thank you, Super Shuttle.
Yeah, thank you.
That's cool. See, we're a community, including those of our wonderful partners that make sure that this is a successful conference.
Well, I think it's close to time, so if you have any additional questions, please send them in. We'll wait a couple of seconds for those. I would just say, kind of on a personal note, our staff, we do many, many, many things, but I swear that I'm not just saying this because I'm on a webinar. I love my job because of our members, and I love working with the staff that we have. Like, our staff is so committed to truly serving whatever you may need from us through ARNOVA, and we're so excited to be here. I felt like it was like preparing for our Super Bowl. It's like the ARNOVA Super Bowl. So we're all here. We've landed last night, like I said. We're planning all day today and all day tomorrow. Some of you will start coming in on Wednesday, but I do want to say that I also really appreciate working for you because you're so dedicated to what we do for ARNOVA. So the fact that we're so busy setting up and our executive director's like, we're doing a webinar right now in the middle of our setup because our members are important for us. Like, that's why I like to work where I work. So thank you all for being members, and bring your friends if you've got friends to be members. You'll be
Conference registration is still open.
Yep, it's still open. You'll hear about renewal for next year, so you can renew at the conference here for next year already.
Yeah. And if you renew at the conference, we are going to do a drawing for a complimentary registration for San Diego. And I would echo the same thing. I love my job. I'm an ARNOVAN, and I love being part of the community, but I love being able to serve our community, and I love working together with Holly and the rest of the team. We're one team. We're working together to make this a conference successful and make this an inclusive community. So excited. I'm going to check to see if there's others. There's some really great comments. We think you guys are rock stars for posting these questions, and we appreciate you guys showing up. So if there are no other questions,
I don't see any.
I think we're in good shape.
But we will see you in a couple days. We can't wait.
And Facebook, Twitter, etc. Like us, all that stuff that you're supposed to do. But if you have questions, sometimes it's faster to ask through them, through email, because it comes right to us, and then we can respond right in real time. See you, Austin.
Thank you so much.
Take care.
See you in a few days.
See ya. Bye. Okay, I don't know what to do. Sorry.
This is why faculty, I always make fun of us for not being able to use technology when we need to. All right, we'll see you in a few days. Just hit BX.
Oh, we're supposed to hit the X.
Goodbye.
Bye.